This episode is brought to you by RBJ Community Consulting. RBJ Community Consulting is a consulting company for community organizations and social entrepreneurs that is dedicated to helping organizations and employees reach their full potential. They provide strategic planning, meeting and event planning and facilitation, nonprofit startup services, project management, and more. To connect or learn more about their services, visit www.rbjcommunity.com.
The older kids came by just to watch them, and one of them was trying to open a can of soda, but she just couldn't. And then she hurt herself. You know how like the nail, you try and get the nail underneath it, just kind of hurt.
It's the worst.
Yeah, she said sugar honey iced tea. I heard her, and I just stared at her, and then she stared at me, and she just turned like blood red. and I was just like, I was laughing, but I was also just, like,
holding that laugh back. What's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Black Student Success Podcast, where we bring you insight and guidance from successful Black professionals and students. My name is Selvin. As always, we appreciate the support. So today we've got Roderick Hilliard, all the way from Thailand, checking in with us to talk to us about his career as an ESL teacher. So he's going to go into what his process was like, what it's like being a teacher overseas, and all the things that come with that. So Roderick, thanks for joining us. How you doing, man?
I'm a little tired, but I'm good, man. It's 11:30 at night now.
yeah. I was like, let's get this going, because we got that 12-hour difference. So but thanks again. No, we definitely appreciate it. So we're gonna start off the interview as we always do by first asking, who is Roderick Hilliard?
He really has no idea who he is, honestly. But you know what? He's definitely a journeyman, and he enjoys it for the most part. Like, you're of course going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs. Life is never that simple. It's a journey, man. You're going to discover things that you didn't know about yourself, and you're definitely going to learn quickly what you like and what you don't like as well, too. So I think that would be the best thing to describe it, a journeyman. Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you for that. So now let's actually get into, why you decided to become an ESL teacher. What was the motivation behind that? What were the things that, led you into that direction? Because you were previously in hospitality. So talk to us about that transition.
Yeah. It's going to be a little bit of a longer story, but right out of the gate for high school, I had my heart set. Like, I wanted to do culinary arts. I was watching, everybody at that age, we just got cable. I spent my time after school watching 106 in Park, and then just turned the channel to Food Network. So then I would watch like Emeril Lagasse and all the other cooking shows, Anthony Bourdain, Iron Chef. It was like late night Friday and things like that. And I was like, oh man, these guys are so cool. They get to make all this amazing food, and you get to see a little bit of culture in their food as well too, or a lot of culture. So it's like, yeah, I definitely want to do that. So my heart was set on that. I decided to go to Kendall College in Chicago, Illinois, and I got my associates in culinary arts. Then I decided to stay another 2 years. I get my bachelor's in hospitality management as well. So graduated with 2 degrees. And I just started working restaurants from then on out. So from the age of about 18 or so, and all the way up to, I guess, when I turned 30, 31. So like 2 years ago now, I have always worked in a restaurant or a hotel or something like that. And I just about did it all, it feels like. I was a cook. I did prep cook. I was a line cook. I've also been a kitchen manager. I've also as well been a restaurant manager when I moved to the front of the house. But I've also been a bartender. I've also been a server, also been a busser. And then, there's other little things that are included with that. Been a host as well too. So you'll realize quickly you do a lot of other dirty work as well too. It's just like, all right. So I've done just about everything in that restaurant. And I realized when I got to about 30, I made a goal when I was getting close to 30. And it was that if I wasn't in a salary position where I was happy, I was going to move on. I've already spent a good part of my life here, and I'm not exactly where I want. Maybe it should be time to move on, and I should find something else. So during that time, I was trying to figure out what would life after culinary arts be, or hospitality was. I went to visit a ex-girlfriend in Japan at the time, and she was also teaching abroad. So that's what she was doing in Japan. So I went there, I visited her for a week, and like listening to her stories and experiencing something different, and just being in Japan is like, you get to do this and you get to explore here. That's awesome as well. So years passed, and it definitely crept up to my 30th birthday, and I was like, all right, I'm 30. I'm still in hospitality. I'm not at that salary position. I'm still like happy with my job, but like I'm not where I want to be. It's time to move on. So I started doing research about what could I do to transition to being a teacher or doing what she did, because it turned out she didn't have a teaching certificate at the time, or still probably doesn't. So I was just like, okay, well, maybe I should get a certificate or some education. So I'm just not like, here I am. And like, I have no criteria, I have no background, I have no certification. So I looked online and I asked around a couple friends who wanted to pursue a similar thing. And they told me about a place called International TEFL Academy. They do have a brick and mortar building in Chicago as well. It's off of the Diversity Brown Line stop in Lakeview. Yeah, in Lakeview as well. But they also offer an online course. And so I decided, you know what, I'll do the online course because I still have to work. I still have rent to pay, bills to do, student loans, things like that as well. So when I decided like, all right, I'm going to enroll, I already talked to people. I know how much it would be. I got a little scholarship, I guess you can call it, from them. They gave me like $100 off. It's like, cool, I can use that to pay, but I was still short. So even then, I worked 2 jobs just to be able to pay the certificate and still like manage my own stuff. So it felt like it was in college just for those 3 months or so. You know, you wake up, you go to one job, you go back to the computer, and then you go to the next job, and then you're back home late night, and then you try to do homework and you start all over again. So that just lasted for a good 3 months. Got my certificate. No, I got done with the course. Got done with the course. And then I had to do my practicum as well. So with the practicum, that's pretty much just your real life experience. So I volunteered afterwards with a program called VITA, Volunteering and Teaching Adults, which was sponsored or provided through Oakton Community College. And so pretty much I was teaching adult people, or just adults, and from different backgrounds, Russian, particularly Korean as well, some Japanese, some Chinese as well, but all from the North Shore. And I was teaching them for about 3 or 4 months at the Evanston Public Library. And I would go in twice a week, 3-hour classes for both of those days. And I'm just trying my best to use the teaching methodology that I learned and just apply that to real life scenarios, building lesson plans, how to keep them engaged, how to properly explain certain grammar rules, syntax, and things like that. And it was good. It was a little bit challenging because it felt like I was being thrown in, but I like situations like that. It's either you sink or you swim, and you best believe I'm not going to sink. I'm going to figure this out. We're going to tread water for a little bit, but we're going to eventually get it together. Yeah. And I already had it set in my mind as well that at that time, this is all going to build up towards the goal of coming here, moving to Thailand. And so once I got done with all that, I got handed my certificate. I bought that plane ticket, and then I quit my job. A month later, I flew out here, and that's it. I've been working here now for just over 2 years. And now I'm a head teacher. Now I'm a head teacher at the school. And I look forward to teaching them, even if it's through a computer or even if it's in person. It's nice just to try and see the progress of the students and just what activities and how can I become a better teacher and them improve their English as well too.
That's what's up. You're definitely a journeyman for real. When it
Oh,
comes
oh,
to
yeah. Oh yeah. Like I said, I'm sorry that was a long story, but like, yeah, it's a journey, man. There's a lot of stuff happening.
yeah. So I think it's good that you started off with a goal when it came
Mhm.
to the previous career that you had, and wanted to say, okay, let's see if I get to this point, by this age, okay, and if not, I'm going to make that transition. So you had that structure that was in place, as opposed to you kind of feeling lost or just kind of drifting, if you will. And then you had everything put in place. You then got the ability to do some teaching before you actually moved, and then you actually took the leap of moving to Thailand, somewhere that I know that you visited at least one time, but now you're actually living there. Talk about what skills you would need, because you've got a lot of things going on here. You've got the transition into a new culture. You've got your teaching now kids, as opposed to being in that food service environment. And you then also potentially have the language barriers and culture barriers as you're trying to teach. So what is that
Yeah.
like? What is that like? Especially now that you're in the country that you're teaching, what skills do you feel like have been beneficial, either for you to have or to build to do your job as well as you can?
In particular, like as far as like the greatest transferable skill that I've taken from hospitality to here, the greatest one has absolutely been patience, followed by time management. And then I would place this at third. I would place multitasking at third. Like you can do it, but like I don't necessarily recommend it too much because then you end up all over the place. But patience is because I'm a guest. I'm visiting this country. Yes, I do live and work here, but I have to learn how things work here. I can't just expect them to be the same as they are in Chicago or Illinois or America, you know? So one of the bigger things that drew me to this is that in Asia, at least, there's a lot more respect for teachers. Now, I don't know about you, but definitely for me, I've definitely been thinking back for like the last couple of years, like, man, I was not nice to my teachers in high school. I absolutely was not. Maybe in middle school, but I definitely was not nice to my teachers looking back, at least some of them. But for the most part, these kids are really nice. They're genuine to their teachers. They do want to learn. They want to earn those good grades as well, too. So even if I, the teacher, make a mistake and or like I ask them if they understand something, they don't go out of their way to correct me or just say you're wrong. You know how you can have like a discourse with your professor or your teacher. And sometimes like, well, how come it's not like this? We are very forthcoming with questions with students in America. But in Asia, no, not really. Scholars, students, do you understand what I'm saying? Crickets. It's just usually silent. So it's just like, it's okay to talk to me. I want to make sure that you understand so I can become a teacher and you better become a better teacher and you can become a better student. So I want you to talk to me. It's okay to disagree with me, but I'll be patient. You're going to warm up to me. I know I'm new here. I know you're new here. We're going to get through this together. And that's especially in particular for the youngest grade that I teach. Now, what's nice is since I came back a second year, my two classes that had me already for one full year, they already know the drill. They know how I work. They know that like I want to hear a response. They know that they can reach out to me if they have help or they need help or they want anything. They can talk to me. They know they can. But yeah, it's kind of difficult with that first year. Mm-hmm. The time management. So like right now, I found out a week ago, I already have to turn in midterm exams by next Friday, not this coming Friday, but the following Friday. And midterms are still not happening for like another 3 weeks after that deadline. So I have to write 7 midterm exams for all my kids in the next 2 weeks. And And then since I'm also a head teacher as well, too, with a staff of 9 other teachers, I have to read their exams and make sure that it's formatted correctly as well, too, while making sure that my lessons are built out and tests are written for units and for my classes. So there's lots of other details as well. So yeah, it helps when you have a planner, on which I have one underneath my desk. And of course, you know, the calendar on your phone and your laptop. How can we live without those? So just every day it's just like, all right, what do I have to do? Where are we in this book? Okay, I got this planned out, mapped out. And of course, with your LMS, your learning management system, you can actually just schedule stuff on time, and which is like, okay, thank goodness I can plan this out and time it all out. So you know what's happening at a quarantine time, and you try and give yourself as much breathing room because you managed it well enough. And then, like I said, multitasking. Yeah, there's some days where I have my phone next to my desk, and that's pretty much like every day, actually. So like I'll get messages in the chat from my teammates asking any question while I'm teaching the class, or I'm trying to make sure that I have all my assignments graded and turned back to the students in like less than 5 days, less than 3 days, just so then they can have it. Because, you know, it's just then if that's to a certain point, if they're not getting a grade back, they're like, why should I do this? Teacher doesn't care about us. I'm like, I do. I want to make sure you get better, but I got to get you back your work. So give me a minute. I got you though. So yeah, you don't want to stress yourself out too much. So for every couple hours that I sit in front of the computer, I try to step away and do something else to take my mind off. And it could be something as simple as reading a book, or it could be me playing Animal Crossing, like the next 2 hours, managing something that's completely beyond, like completely fully in my control versus kids, coworkers, and things like that as well.
Nice. So yeah, so it sounds like with all those 3 things, you created a balance and you found something that worked so that you're able to manage, the busy times as well as some of those, not as busy times throughout your work day and kind of work, period. So, I feel the same way when it comes to like a planner and a calendar. I always think of it as a way for your brain to work like a little bit less. Yeah, because you can,
sometimes you just want, like, I want like a tiny hint, like, when am I supposed to do that? Oh, right, this, then this, blah, 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 blah. Like, as soon as you just get that little peek, you know where to start. It like kind of falls into place.
Yeah.
Classroom management, classroom engagement is usually one of the bigger things as well, too. Like the teachers that you really like, or that we all really like in high school, middle school, elementary, we remember them because they engage with us. They talk with us as well, too. They try to make something really fun if they possibly can. So with mine, I teach at an all-girls school. The youngest grade is 11, maybe 12 years old. And I teach them all the way up to about 13, 14 years old. So they're tweens, they're preteens, or they're becoming teenagers as well. So many of the times, I don't know how it was. Yeah, for us, if we had our cell phone in the class, that's like a death sentence. You're not going to see that thing. Now, at this age and this time, yeah, every kid has a cell phone. Every kid has some iPhone or some like flagship Android or something like that as well, too. So it's like, all right, I don't want to spend the whole class period trying to take away phones, but if I have to, I will. But I want to give you a reason to actually use the phone. Mm-hmm. So many times I try to use online games to interact or just engage with the lesson as well, be it for assessments, for tests, or be it for activities as well. So trying to marry the activity into that's been kind of helpful, especially now. So like now that we're doing online learning for the foreseeable future, I try to include some sort of game or activity where they can play that after class and they can use that to study. So before they'll have a test, I'm going to make like a little study kit, and they'll have a game that they can play just to use for vocabulary review or for grammar review. But they'll also have like the little form, rule, the use, like the really textbook stuff. But if they want to do well, they can just play the game. And as long as they remember the answers and they like actually work through them all, they should be doing well on the test. So as long as I can keep them engaged and keep them excited, like, okay, this doesn't feel like a test. This doesn't feel like homework. Then I think that will be a bigger success as well.
Yeah, I think that's a dope way to get them, to meet them where they're at, and as opposed to trying to fight, the things that are in place. Like you said, you don't want to take the whole class time to try to take away devices and things like that, but you're utilizing it to your advantage.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's at the school, but I made a box and I labeled it with a cutout of a bird and a blue book. And, like the jailhouse, the mugshot, they both got mugshots. And I just call that my Twitter jail. And so like literally if I catch them on their phones not doing schoolwork, I take the phone, I put it in the box, and they hate it. So I'm like, yeah, that's a success. They understand me. They see the box and they fear me. So at least they got that. But I try to be nice, but it's like, hey, I'm going to take it away. You'll never see it again for the day. But you guys draw a line.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome. So now you've actually talked a lot about, different cultural things when it comes to how students interact with teachers, there versus here. Maybe you can get into maybe like a misconception about being an ESL teacher that, someone from the outside might have, and, something that you can provide some clarity, especially if that would allow a potential, student to take that type of career path.
Absolutely. So for ESL teaching, like I said, much earlier, I started off doing hospitality management, and I went to school and I earned a bachelor's in hospitality management. By any means, I technically should not be a teacher if anybody's like really thinking about it. But luckily, I got the certificate and I can do this. So one of the wonderful things about teaching abroad, and for pretty much, I would like to say about 99% of the world. So if you are graduating college and you just got, or you're getting a bachelor's or you just got a bachelor's, and you're like, I want to work somewhere. I want to travel a little bit. This is a really good outlet to do that as well. And depending on where you go in the world as well, too, it's a great earning opportunity financially, but it's also just a great opportunity just to expand your horizon and be somewhere different, be that fish out of water if you are comfortable with being that fish out of water. Like one of the popular destinations for many people that left college, they get their TEFL certificate and they'll hop on a flight and go to South Korea. South Korea, that country in particular, they're more likely to reimburse you for your plane ticket to South Korea. So you're already saving about X amount of dollars for that. A lot of the programs there for teaching, they will subsidize your housing. So either you pay half or free housing, saving money again. And then a lot of times, the school, if you want to save a few extra bucks as well, too, they might feed you. They might have some sort of transportation to the school or something like that as well for you. So a lot of kids and a lot of adults, especially graduating adults, to pay back their student loans faster, they go to South Korea, and all that money they save goes directly to student loans. So they're not really paying it out of pocket. They're just paying it off with the savings that they have. Now, for me, I don't save as much, but I'm fortunate to be in a country when, if there wasn't as much of a pandemic going on, I would be able to have weekends off, which I never would have in hospitality. So every Friday or Saturday, at least once a month, I would be able to go somewhere in Thailand, have a weekend vacation somewhere I never imagined going. Like I could go to an island in the south of Thailand and come back and teach class on Monday. I can go hiking, or I can go play with elephants in north of Thailand as well. I can go to some temples in central or eastern Thailand. I can explore the vast countryside as well too, in northeast Thailand as well too. So like, there's just lots of things that you can do abroad as a teacher, and you earn enough money, you're able to do things like that as well. So it can be financially rewarding if you're seeking that, or if you just want to live a really dope life and if you really want to post something for the gram, by all means, you can do that as well too. So teaching can definitely open your eyes and just see how big this world is as well too.
Nice. A lot of great insight when it comes to that, especially when you have the financial and then just the lifestyle benefits that you've been able to reap through pursuing this career that you actually find fulfilling, which is so, I mean, I think you're getting a lot out of that you might not get in a number of different, careers. So that's really awesome to hear.
Right. And like, even I thought about, all right, this has been good so far. Where else would I go? Like, you can pretty much go anywhere you like to go with any bachelor's degree. You, of course, just have to look up what provisions or what should I do for visas or work permits, depending on where you go. But yeah, man, the world is your oyster. You can absolutely go wherever you like. And if you're a young person and you want to travel after college, I highly encourage it. You don't grow. I think you grow more as a person if you see more things. And if you just keep seeing the same things in your city or on your block, I don't think you grow as much. I think it's kind of stunting your growth, kind of like how adults say coffee stunts your growth. Try coffee somewhere else. Go somewhere else. Grow a little bit. Enjoy it. Enjoy the adventures and all the mishaps. Enjoy the ups and downs. Just go somewhere.
Nice. There you go. Now, what advice would you give to another Black student who might either be pursuing, this specific career, or, just even thinking about either going to teaching, wanting to do some traveling, with whatever career that they decide, from the lens of a Black man in Thailand, what advice would you give to a student who might be thinking along those same lines?
First and foremost, there's Black people everywhere. So even in Thailand, I swear, I kid you not, there's Black people here. However, I would still say, of course, be careful. Always just be aware of where you are. No, this is not like America. And if you come here for this line of work, it's not all play. You are here to work. Remember that, first and foremost. You are here to work. But like I said, if you are responsible and you take that work seriously, the rewards are insurmountable. Since with the agency that I'm with or with the school that I'm with, I like the pay that I receive. I live more than comfortable enough. I can't imagine having a place like this in the States because the rent for the condo that I'm in will probably be 3 times, if not 5 times higher in the States as well. It's very easy to blow your money because definitely like the first couple months I was here, I would almost say it's like Monopoly money. It's kind of weird, like at one point you're like, oh, I'm rich in Monopoly, and then you accidentally spend it all. Yeah, it can kind of be like that in any foreign country. So please always be careful about that. And remember, like this kind of alludes to the first one, you're a Black man or Black woman on foreign soil. So you're not just representing America or being American, you're representing all Blacks across the world, the entire diaspora. Did I say that right?
Diaspora.
I think so. There we go. We'll just go with it. English.
Yeah. All right.
So you're representing everyone. So there's already going to be, sadly, there are going to be some negative connotations associated with us. But again, you're just going to have to be patient because you have to think about it. Sometimes some people never seen Black people. Some people never been so close as well too. I'm lucky to live in a major city, Bangkok, where it's like, okay, you see different people, so this is okay. But I live somewhere more rural. That may not be the case. They'll look at me and it's like, why did you get so tan? And it's like, I like it. But that's a whole nother thing. So always just be aware of who you are, how you act, and things like that. Not telling you to code switch, but like just be aware of your surroundings.
There you go. I think that's really, really great advice. All right. So one of the questions that we ask everybody, because there's always different definitions just based off of your experiences, your perspective on life and things like that. But what would you say is your definition of success?
So I did a little bit of homework. I listened to a previous episode, and it featured our man, Tyree Shamby, member of the National Guard.
Good man.
And he said, great man. And he said, happiness. I would also piggyback off of that. I would also say happiness as well too, but it's got to be just a little bit more than just happiness. Happiness is a very, very broad term. So anybody can be happy. Selvin, I'm sure that you're very happy where you are. I'm very happy where I am. I'm sure your listeners and everybody else could be happy where they are, or they're looking for that happiness. You need to figure out for me, I had to figure out what would make me happy. So I would also have to say success is reaching that goal, just like reaching the goal that you wanted, the immediate goal. Because if you take small attainable steps to get to that goal, you will feel really proud. But then once you get there, it's like, oh man, I was able to get that far. How else can I get there? Or what else can I do just to get there? So those small attainable goals is to reach to this point, getting a TEFL certificate, but that meant having to work 2 jobs and bike up and down between Chicago and Evanston on a bike just to save extra money. You know, that also meant like not spending the money to do this as well too, just a sacrifice. Like, all right, I got to save money for a plane ticket or to survive the first month out there. You know, you got to pick and choose your battles. So you have to set a goal that will achieve that happiness for you, that a goal that you really, really want to do. If you really want to travel, you're going to figure out how to do that. Okay. You're not just going to sit there and like, oh, I wish I could travel. No. You have to work for it. You have to actually do something for it, not just sit there and wish. So I would say for me, success is for those that move towards that goal and actually accomplish what they set out to do. And for me, I would love to, in the next year or two, get a master's in education and go somewhere else and just keep traveling and keep teaching as well too. And like, I have lots of other goals that I have as well too. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more to do. There's no time for settling.
There you go. Perfect. So let's get into some other questions just to kind of get to know you a little bit better. So we're going to start off with, naming one embarrassing thing that has happened to you while you were in school.
Oh, well, all right. I can name things that are embarrassing to students because as a teacher, you see everything.
Okay.
But with the last school year, we had an English camp for our kids in our program. And we were playing a game. I was playing a game with the youngest group of students. We were playing bananagrams, giant bananagrams. I made giant tiles. They had fun trying to spell words and racing into each other. So it was fun. The older kids came by just to watch them. And one of them was trying to open a can of soda, but she just couldn't. And then she hurt herself. You know how like the nail, you try and get the nail underneath and it kind of hurt.
It's the worst.
Yeah. She said, sugar, honey, iced tea. I heard her. And I just stared at her. And then she stared at me and she just turned like blood red. and I was just like, I was laughing, but I was also just, like,
holding that laugh back.
I'm like, yeah. So that was definitely a highlight.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to that kid and canned drinks and everything.
Of our existence, man. Don't you hate it? Like you don't have enough nail to open up a can of soda.
Yeah, and then it fires back, and sugar on the IC. You know what happens. There you go. So, lastly, name one thing that could get your black card revoked.
Oh man, if any of you all knew me in high school, obviously the first thing was being on the cross country team for 3 years. And then for 4 years, yes, I ran track and field, but it was all long distance. So for many of those races, I was the only black guy. Oh, you're doing the mile? You're the only one. It's like, well, this is fun. This is fantastic. Why are you running 3 miles? Like, I don't know. They made me, okay? And by they, track and field coaches and rest and soul, our old equipment manager, Ray Aiden, as well, too. So, yeah, they made me.
They made you. You're sticking with that.
But yeah, they did. And what else? What else will revoke my black card? I don't know. I like electric guitar.
Maybe. We're in progressive times. Maybe in high school.
Yeah, maybe in high school. That was it. But like, yeah, I guess that's it, really. I'm sure there's other things. Oh, I kind of like mayonnaise. Does that revoke it?
You're on the line.
Kind of like mayonnaise.
You're on the line.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
It's not like I'll slather it. It's just, just like a little bit.
It's a little bit. Okay. Yeah, that's like a pending review type of thing. I mean, we're talking off air, and you're about to chop my head off for not watching Purple Rain all the way through. Oh
yeah, that's a wrap, and like that tells me everything I need to know about you. You didn't watch any Prince movies.
And now our relationship is in question.
Yeah, man, it's fractured. I don't know if we're gonna get back.
We're not gonna get back.
I mean, if you need to, just go to my parents' house. I got the Blu-rays there. If you got a Blu-ray player, I got you. You need to watch all 3. You and the missus need to have a date night and watch Under the Cherry Moon and Purple Rain back to back.
All right. So a Prince date night is what's on the horizon.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. All right, we'll get that set up.
Right.
There you go. So Rod, that's all I got for you. I truly appreciate your time and showing your perspective, especially for a particular career that has led you to live overseas and just see a whole different world. So thank you for that. Any last words before we wrap everything up?
Shout out to you, Selvin. Thank you for having me on as a guest. Thank you for even just thinking that I am successful. Like, oh my goodness, I'm flattered. So that's something else. And yeah, shout out to you, man. This is a fantastic platform as well, too. I listen to many episodes. I won't say I listen to all. I can't promise you that. I can't lie about that. But I listen to many of them. And I'm proud of what you and Ashley have done as well, too. And just keep it up, man. Like, this is amazing.
Appreciate it. Yeah, every listen is appreciated. So thank you again. And thanks to everybody who's been listening or watching. Feel free to continue to follow us on social media. That's at Inquire Hire. And then check our website out, inquirehire.com. So until next time, peace.